Welcome to Old Fort Harrod State Park and another Kentucky State Parks recreation station. I'm the park manager, David Coleman, and we're going to go inside and show you how we do our Three Sisters gardening here at Old Fort Harrod State Park.
Hi, my name is Patty Hall. I work at Old Fort Harrod State Park, and today we are getting ready to plant our Three Sisters garden, and this needs to be done after the frost is over. Forever, but anyway, so we have a Three Sisters garden, which means beans, corn, and squash. And the Iroquois sisters, the legend had that they actually believed these plants would not survive without each other. So they plant the corn and they plant the beans at the base of the corn to help climb up the corn to keep it steady and make it heavier for the wind wouldn't blow it over. And that the green beans would actually pull nitrogen from the air and sink it into the soil. Then they had squash, which would run over the ground to help keep it damp and keep the weeds out of it. And these three vegetables were something that could be dried and put up for winter time when they did not have other sources of food. So these were all dried as they came on. And so how they planted them, I'm not really sure, but it's usually in hills. They used a lot of remains of fish for fertilizer and to make their plants grow. So we're going on legend on what they say. I have read that when the Europeans first came over here in the early 1600s, that by the time the first Thanksgiving came about, the Iroquois had already been planting the Three Sisters garden for 3 centuries. So if it works, this is what they did, and they were firm believers in planting those plants together.
Okay, my name is David Coleman. I'm here the park manager here at Old Fort Harrod State Park, and we plant our garden a little bit different than what Patty was describing was the historic way. We go in rows instead of hills. So I've got 2 rows already started. One's actually got the seeds in it already. So I'm going to use my marker here, and it's really not hoeing and opening up a furrow as you would expect. I'm really just marking it, and it'll dig a little bit, and then I'll come back and put the seeds, and I'll actually push them down with my fingers. So I'm going to just cut on my way across the garden. Trying to keep the rows as straight as I can. Like I said, I've already dropped the corn in this first row, so I'll just come back and just push them down just a little bit, cover them up. We're a little bit late getting the garden started. Of course, it's rained non-stop for weeks on end. And as Patty commented earlier, for those of you that want to comment on this post, we are using inoculated corn, so that's why it's red. It obviously wouldn't have been inoculated with the chemical back in the 1700s. But this corn grows a whole lot better than that corn, so. But you get the idea. Then I'll come back and I'll put the beans in the next row, and then we'll go corn and we'll go beans. Then we'll have some hills in the center where I'll put the squash. And we'll put those in a hill. We've tried this multiple different ways throughout the years, corn on one side, beans on the other. So this year I said, let's just go every other row and see if that works any better. We have a hard time keeping the squash in the garden. It wants to send out a 1,400-mile vine, so it gets all over the yard here. So we're going to plant those dead center and let them come through the beans and the corn. Hopefully that'll work out pretty good.